Oh, so went out to eat last night. Generally, especially since I didn't know where I was going last night, like what general vicinity. It's weird because you're in New Jersey, but New York's just right across the bridge, right? I knew that James was going out to eat at night in New York. I hadn't talked to Scotty yet. I didn't know what Mark wanted to do. And realistically, I guess quietly in my mind, I thought that I was going to go to the Mets game. I was going to just go after. I knew I could get there by like the second or third inning if I took my time. You know, there'd be a scalper there in the old days, I assume, but that's maybe not accurate. I have no idea. And it was one of our clients, Anthony, by the way. Thank you very much for picking me up at the airport yesterday. I appreciate it. He had told me go on SeatGeek half an hour before the game and the prices will go down. They did. But the thing that bothered me the most was the traffic, right? Getting to and from the baseball game. So I decided not to. So Scott and I and Megan and Jody Jameson, who was here, and unfortunately he didn't make it in the final. He was here. We decided just to go out to eat. So we went out to eat somewhere in, honestly, I don't even know where we were. We're in New Jersey, somewhere. Got a bite to eat. And because I didn't know where I was going, I didn't have a hotel booked, and I ended up just staying at Scotty's house. So I stay at Scotty's house. I wake up this morning. Scotty said, well, we got these horses to train. What about going over to train them? So I'm on my way right now. I said, well, that's fine. I said, that's fine. I'll go over and train the horses, but how am I going to get there? I thought you were going to the qualifiers. He goes, well, I am going to the qualifiers. You can take my truck. I said, okay. Oh, by the way, make sure you tell whoever you're qualifying for if you break a world record in the qualifier, it doesn't mean that you're going to drive the horse the next week. Anyway, I'm on my way over to Megan's to train a couple of trotters for Megan. And then it dawned on me that I'm close to I'm actually in Wallkill, New York right now. Maybe I'll drive over to Blue Chip. Have a look at a couple of babies that are in the sale. I know one of our partners, Rob, had told me he had seen some of the Blue Chip babies and was very interested in a couple of them. So maybe I will drop by Tom's, see if he's around, and have a look at the babies. Now, I did want to talk about yesterday. Yesterday was disappointing for me. The 10 hole really just crushed me, to be honest. I know it crushed everybody. I don't mean to be selfish. Here I thought we can have Maury better than he was yesterday. We're going to take those shoes off for the final. If I can get him in a place where he's close. I thought that was a key component of yesterday. Was that, I got away fourth, but I was gapped because I didn't want to get him up on top of somebody and have him get all rambunctious and make a break. You have to understand, I know I have to be fourth to get in the final. I know that Mark just made a break leaving the gate. So I'm thinking of the horses in behind me. Yannick's horse is the favorite, right behind me. I just don't want to put him in a spot where he's hot, he makes a break, he gets out of gear. And what I ended up doing was being a little too conservative. I was a good 6 lengths off the lead coming out of the first turn. And Maury did a great job. I was interviewed after the race, and I said, I'll be honest, Memento Mori is a very ordinary looking horse that really wants to do extraordinary things. And he's such a nice horse to drive too. Keep in mind, that was the first time I'd driven Maury since his qualifier, right? And he's changed and matured so much. And I know Scott attributes that to the way he's driven him, and quite frankly, he's right in a lot of regards. The way that he's handled the horse has turned him into a very nice little horse. But that is the deepest. Now, I could be wrong, and again, maybe I'm biased because it's our horse, and we have a lot of people out there that watch a lot of races. I don't remember a deeper 2-year-old trot division in my life where anybody, there's 10 horses lining up in the gate, right? Now, you can say, well, Maury's hit 10 hole, whatever, and there might be one other horse in there that's a long shot, but all 10 horses have a chance to win. And if I'm going to be completely honest, 7 or 8 legitimately have a chance to win. The horse that my one takeaway that I was kind of cheering for yesterday, what about the Trip Go Dog Go? Watch his race. Last at the head of the lane, screaming on the end of it to be fourth, beat a length. First start with the trot and hobbles on. I bring that up because we bought his full brother Hangar 1 in Lexington. So it's cool to watch those types of things unfold also in front of us. I will say a little side note. This might be the best vanilla latte I've ever had in my life. It was made in the Target. Now, I went to Target by accident. Because I put it in a GPS Starbucks close to me. I got to Target and realized, I hate going into the Targets. A lot of them you can't order ahead. But fantastic latte. And then it also realized, since I've stolen Scotty's truck, why don't I just buy one of the window things for a mount for the windshield? So that's what I did. I've decorated his truck. So let's run through yesterday again. We did it last night, but I felt rushed. I hate when I'm holding the phone. I don't really get to animate how things went. A fairly disappointing day, to be honest, and disappointing in the sense that I thought it could have went a lot better. And we have to, a horse like, I was so tired yesterday. I was up at 3:45 yesterday and was going the whole day. I literally watched the post parade of the mare in the last race, Chevron's Bypass, and fell asleep before the race went off. I was talking to Amy this morning. I said, I'm disappointed with the races, and then it dawned on me that I couldn't recall. I remember, I distinctly remember watching the post parade, but couldn't for the life of me remember the mile. I think I missed my turn, didn't I? It doesn't matter. It says I'm going to be 8 minutes away. Oh yeah, no, I missed that turn for sure. It's not easy to get back on this road. I think I'm just going to have to wing it. I'm just going to keep going. I missed the whole race. So let me talk about yesterday. Thoroughly pleased with Marching Forth. I think he's getting better every time he goes on the track. Really, really happy with him. And Deshaun Johnson, a tremendous job driving the horse. I know it looks easy, but it isn't. To get in behind a horse that you don't know and give the horse a good trip and almost get up to win, that was a good drive. And a great job done by him. Marching Forth was good. Now, him and Memento Mori were virtually the stars of the day. Now, I'm going to run through everything again because last night, there was a... What's going on here? Okay. There was lots going on. So the next one up was Rock Shining Star. I had said to Justin, it's hard. When you're a kid, you don't want to look bad, either in front of the people you're driving for or the other drivers on the track. So you're always a little reserved. And really, a lot of the times, you can't be. You have to go out there and really put it all out there. And we'll talk about a situation where that was very important yesterday, and it didn't quite happen. But again, Justin, I can't assume that he can go and do that also. There's lots of great drivers that won't do that. Probably more great drivers that won't than will. And what I mean by that is, I guess what I'm getting to is stay close. And what I had said to him, you got to go out of there with this horse from the 8-hole. He leaves well, but I didn't really want to bombard him with a lot of instructions and directions. But when you're leaving from the outside, especially as a kid, with a little bit of a longer shot, there's only 2 spots you're going to end up. 2, unless you get lucky. The front or parked. And you have to go out of there with that mentality. You have to get him out of there. And you can't just let him float out and think that you're going to look left and there's going to be a hole. Or more times than not, you're going to end up with the ladder position, which is parked the whole way. And that's what happened with Stay Close yesterday. And it's a tough spot to put that kid in, too. Horse feels bumpy, but he's a competitor. And you might have saw him back through the field and walk. That's just his defensive system. He knows the race is over. I'm screwed. I'm going to get beat up. And he always saves a little bit. And anytime he gets beat up like that, he kind of shells up. You'll see him back through the field. But, I'm not going to tell you he's going to come out and be 100% next week, come out swinging. But he'll come to play next week. He does every single time. Now, when it comes to Rock Shining Star, same thing. You can't hit the 3-hole and get away 7th. And I know he can leave. He's parked the whole way with Kane. You have to get out of there. His first 2 steps off the car are soft. He won't give you a feel like he's going to really get right out of there. But you have to know that going in. And you have to have him on his toes and ready to attack coming off the screen. And again, this is in no way, I'm in no way admonishing Justin. I would use him again and again. He's a good kid. He's got a great head in his shoulders. He's got a quiet set of hands. He's a good driver, and he's going to be a good driver. One thing I've learned a lot in this industry, I've seen a lot of young drivers come up, and you think to yourself, geez, that kid sucks. He's terrible. You've seen it too if you're a gambler. But then you watch that kid over the next year or 2 or 3, and you're like, that kid, it's much like the same as horses. That kid is really matured, and that kid could be going somewhere. And that can be said for a lot of young drivers as they come up. Very rarely do you ever see a driver just hit the ground running and like, that kid is amazing. You know, just everything he does is perfect. You never see that. I very rarely I can say I saw that. So I may be critiquing what he did yesterday, but that's in no way an admonishment of the young man's talent, because he is a talented driver and he's got a bright future in this game. So those were those 2 horses. Spitfire Overseas, I think he just, he's a big, heavy horse, and it's going to take him 2, 3, maybe 4 starts to really hit that top speed again. And it's not the same. When you train down those little narrower, thinner, quicker footed horses, they can do things, right off the hop, bang, right back to where they were. But those bigger, heavier horses, especially the ones near the top of the food chain, sometimes they need a little more work, right? And I think that Spitfire Overseas just needs some starts under him. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm not too worried about him. The 2 that were a little disappointing, and nobody's fault, I actually liked the way that Kane Kaufman drove both of them at the time when he did it. And then at the end of the race, I'm like, I didn't like that. But I don't get to make that choice. Pickpocket, first over is never his forte. I thought he raced well. I thought for a minute he was going to hang in there and really grind him into the ground, but that's not his racing style. Leave, sit, run him up the inside and attack. You look at all the wins he had. Leave, sit, attack in the end of the mile. Scotty, sit right to the head of the lane at the Meadowlands and kind of weave through traffic. That first over stuff, it's not that he won't do it. It's just not his cup of tea. Right, and he finds himself like a fish out of water when you put him in that situation, especially when the horse you're trying to run down to the front is looking for a fight and is a good horse. How many turns do you think I can miss in one day? Luckily, there's a driveway here. When the horse you're trying to run down is one of the favorites and on the front end and is looking for a tussle, looking for a fight to begin with, it's just not a real good situation for a Pickpocket to be in. And I think that's what happened last night. The good thing is we can race him anywhere. We'll reevaluate where we're going to go with him. That is the class for Pickpocket. We just need to have him coming in on his toes and consistently racing. And I think we can get him maybe a softer start at Northfield even. And I wouldn't have been saying that 3-4 weeks ago, but after that training mile 3 weeks ago, I know he can get around Northfield, and we can race him there once or twice also. And then Brace for Landing raced poorly. Kane Kaufman drove the horse perfectly and put in a poor effort is what he did. Why is the question. Now, I didn't get a report from Jason about scoping last night. He was going to try and get him scoped, but the horse was in late. So that may not have happened. But I do want blood work drawn on him, and I do want to know what took place last night, because that horse should have he should have won. He should have been a winner last night, and that was a piss poor effort by him. And it's not the first time he's done it. He can be a coward. And I said that to Kane. I said, you got to watch him in the third quarter, because he'll let you empty him out. And he feels like he's going to run off, and then he'll just shell up. He'll just come right out of steam right away. You really got to keep him under wraps in the third quarter. And I don't think Kane did anything wrong. I think the horse just raced piss poor yesterday. Excuse my language. But I just don't think he put in a good effort. And we'll take a look at his blood and figure out why. But again, here's a class he's already dominated once and was short his second trip in it. But this was the third one he didn't race good, and we just got to get to the bottom of why. Chime Bell, 7-hole, not an easy horse to drive from post 7. She doesn't get off the car as well as you want. I know, again, here's a young kid, doesn't know the horse as well as I do, or as well as other people might. So when it came to her, I would like to see him leave a bit, get away third or fourth, follow. But as it turned out, the front end was hot, and it probably would have sucked the life out of her anyway. So maybe it just wouldn't have worked out yesterday. But again, just following the trend of an incredibly poor outing for the entire day, she certainly wasn't the fly in the ointment. She kind of raced ho-hum also. And then JK Victory, I'm going to reach out to Adam Rucker and Ronnie today and just tell him I want to give him 3 weeks off and then bring him back here. We'll race him at the Meadows a little bit and see how he is. It's just not working out there. The horse is not coming back the way we'd hoped the latter part of the summer. The first part of the summer, I think there was some wasted miles. I think everybody could agree with that. It's just racing. It's not the end of the world. But the horse it just seems to me, and when Trace didn't leave with him last night, obviously the horse is giving him a sense of, yeah, I'm not really good right now, not feeling it, and that's why he ducked him, because he knows the horse is a forward motion horse. You got to come off the car with him and go forward, and if he's not leaving with him, it just leads me to believe that he knows also the horse isn't great right now, so he needs a little bit of rest. And then we topped off the day, why wouldn't we, with a break leaving the gate. I missed the race and I turned on the replay and I literally watched 4 steps out of the car and she made a break, and I just closed the iPad. So why did she make a break? I haven't talked to Tyler yet. I will very soon to figure out what went on with her and if we got to make some changes. Looked to me like she was strong her first start, and Luke drove her like she was strong. Then he drove her like she was not her next 2, which she didn't look like she was. And then last night to make a break leaving the car. I got to figure out what's going on there. She's got talent, but we can't keep squandering races. So what's going on? What do we need to fix? And I'll drive her myself next week to see if we can get to the bottom of that. So I'm here right now at Mark Ford's Training Center. I believe the front entrance should be right here. I believe so. Yeah, right here. It's a really nice training center. I'll give you guys a look here in just a second. I don't think you get to see the track. Pretty big training center, pretty huge operation. I remember when Mark was building this place, the first year it was open, I was here. We weren't stable here or anything, but I was here looking around, and it was pretty cool spot. So we're here at Mark Ford's Training Center. Now we have I'm Fancy Like here. She is going back to Ohio, and I don't think it's mechanics here. I think it's just simply the mechanics in general and the surface she's racing on that are a problem. So she's going to head back to Ohio. But I'll check in and get to see Tactical Mounds today also. See how the big girl looks. See how the big girl looks here. So with that, I'm done for the morning with you. I gave you a full update. We got Time Is On My Side racing tonight. He's not on the calendar. I don't understand what's going on there. But Time Is On My Side races today. Looking for some good luck with him. And then I'm off to Illinois tomorrow. Really need some good luck with the Illinois breds. We didn't buy any Illinois breds this year just because it's the same as Indiana, right? Somebody asked me the other day, how come you don't have more Indiana breds? Because we just can't. It's hard for me to articulate what I'm trying to say, but when things aren't going right, I'd like to go and put my eyes on the horses, and I just can't throughout the summer in Indiana and in Illinois. Hopefully we can get back into those jurisdictions at some point. But for next year, for sure, we're going to stay away from Illinois 2-year-olds. We have our 3-year-olds. We'll have some horses out there with Jim. I really like Jim. I think he does a great job. And then we'll also see about Indiana. But you can see the frustration I have sometimes. You send Widespread Panic out there to race, and he makes breaks, and you just say, geez, I'd like to go out and help out if I could, but every time he'd be in to go, or every time there'd be a stake come up, I'd have to be in Pennsylvania or Ohio. So it makes it really hard for me to kind of open that door. So we'll see if we end up with any Indiana breds, but Illinois, not 2-year-olds for next year, but we'll get back in there at some point. We're not going anywhere. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you're having a great day. The one thing I can say is the weather is fantastic here today. A little chilly, but really nice. And I will update you after Time Is On My Sides race. And of course, it is Saturday. I'll be doing all my videos today too. That's something else I can do. So with that, I'll let you go. Have a wonderful rest of your day and your weekend. Take care.